Hi everybody and welcome back. Remember that song, I know I'll never love this way again? Well, stick around because I got a story to tell. Yeah, so the year was about 1979, 1980. Robbie and I were in Los Angeles recording our last album called Two Hearts. And the place we were at was called Moms and Pop's Company Store. It was owned by Freddie Perrin. He was a writer and he wrote Shake a Groove Thing and Reunited for Peaches and Herb. He wrote I Will Survive for Gloria Gaynor. And he wrote A Little Lovin' Keeps the Doctor Away and the song Two Hearts for us, the Raes. He also wrote a lot of other hit material. You can look him up. Freddie Perrin and Dino Ficaris. They were partners. They owned this studio called Moms and Pop's Company Store, which was the place that we used to lay down our vocals. In those days, we didn't have the kind of technology that we do now. We can pretty much record those albums right here in a little home office. But in those days, we used to put the bed tracks down in either Philadelphia or Toronto. We would put the vocals down in Los Angeles, and then we would go to New York and do all the mixing and mastering. So this guy walked in the studio, and his name was Richard Kerr. And he said to me, Cheryl, you know, I've been listening to you sing, and I have this song that I've written that I think would be a really nice song for you. I think you'd do a good job on it. So he sat down and played it on his guitar. And it went like this. He sang it like a little folk song. You looked inside my fantasies and made each one come true. Something no one else had ever found a way to do. I was like, was listening, and I said, I think this, you know, would sound good as a big power ballad with some strings and horns and a big lush arrangement. And so we took advantage of the fact that we were there in Los Angeles, and we pulled together some musicians, and we laid down a bed track, and I put the vocal on. I was really excited because this was going to be my very first effort as a solo artist, apart from the Raes. Robbie and I were trying to do some solo things so that we could have, you know, more variables in the Raes. So, very excited, went back to Toronto. They loved it at A&M Records there. Jerry Lacourciere, who was the president of A&M, released it immediately in Canada, and we picked up quite a few stations, and it was starting to become a minor hit. So we flew to Los Angeles, and we sat with a guy named Barry Corkin, who was the head of artist relations in Los Angeles, and we had what they called a listening session. He listened to this song, and he said, you know, I love the production, I love your performance, and everything about it sounds good, but I just don't think the song is hit material, and so we are not going to release it. Man. So I was really kind of disappointed because it means something to have a hit in the US and not just Canada. And in those days it was very difficult to get a hit in the US. Nowadays we have so many great talented people from Canada that the market is flooded with Canadian talent, but in those days it was a little harder. So we went back to Canada, and A&M Records Canada had decided that they were going to export it to the United States, do what we did before. It wasn't the first time we did that. We did it with A Little Lovin' Keeps the Doctor Away because it was the same story. They didn't want to release it in the US. And so we released it ourselves and picked up all the major stations down the US seaboard, and they eventually were forced to release it. So we were hoping we could do the same thing with this song. And just as we were about to launch, it got covered by Dionne Warwick. That's what happens. A good song is a good song, no matter what the A&R guys say. Of course, it wasn't her big comeback hit. And let me tell you, it's really hard to have a comeback hit. It has to be a good song. It's got to be like, have that extra something to pull you back into the market. So, yeah, it was a big hit for her. And of course, when she covered it, Cherrill Rae kind of got stepped on, and I never got the hit. that I should have had with it. But I guess I wasn't supposed to have it because it didn't happen. But it doesn't matter because everything's a learning experience. I really enjoy doing it. Hey, and I have a story to tell now, right? Here you go. I loved singing it. I still love singing it. I did it on my television show in 1980, and that's the excerpt that I'm going to bring you today. Yours truly singing I Know I'll Never Love This Way Again, which was an almost hit for me.
You looked inside my fantasies and made each one come true. Something no one else had ever found a way to do. I've kept the memories one by one since you took me in. I know I'll never love this way again. I know I'll never love this way again, so I keep holding on before the good is gone. I know I'll never love this way again. Hold on, hold on, hold on. A fool will lose tomorrow, reaching back for yesterday. I won't turn my head in sorrow if you go away. I'll stand here and remember just how good it's been. I know I'll never love this way again. I know I'll never love this way again, so I keep holding on before the good is gone. I know I'll never love this way again. Hold on, hold on, I'm holding on. I've kept the memories one by one since you took me in. I know